Now what's this gonna be? You know how I played it all. That nigga burning G. All by his bread. Bitch, I'm all about my bread. All by my bread. Bitch, I'm all about my bread. All by my bread. Now what's this gonna be? You know how I played it all. That nigga burning G. All by his bread. Now bitch, I'm all about my bread. All by my bread. Now bitch, I'm all about my bread. All by my bread. Now bitch, I'm first green ballin', trying to get my.
Welcome back to the PBC Pelican Bay's Corner. On today's menu, we got some dog talk around the board. We're going to speak about breeding. We got some breaking news. And we got an update coming from the Chesterfield dog fighting situation where the sheriff deputy was locked up. You know, hope everybody having a great day, man. Hope everybody had a great day, great evening, great morning. Just depends on when you're watching this video. Like I always say, big thanks to everybody in North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and anybody that's watching the channel right now. You know, first we're gonna go ahead and get into the light news first, where a man walked his dog to the dog park. A 77-year-old man is accused of shooting another dog at the dog park because the dog came up to his dog growling. His dog and the other dog was looking like they was about to fight. He went and got a weapon, came back and shot the dog. You know, so they're investigating that right now. We about to get into that, and then we're gonna get into an update from the Chesterfield dog fighting situation when they're showing you the yard, and then we're gonna get into this dog talk about breeding and different things when it comes to breeding. The American Pit Bull Terrier. You know, y'all got it from first. You're on the channel. You're here, Pelican Bay's Corner. Let's get into it.
In an El Paso dog park, El Paso police say a 77-year-old man shot and killed a 2-year-old pit bull mix after it got into a fight with his chihuahua. A spokesperson says the two dogs were semi-aggressive towards each other, and the man left to retrieve a gun before returning to the park. The pit bull's owner says the other dog's owner warned him to get his dog as the two pets were snarling at each other. That owner says before he could grab his dog, the other man shot the animal.
His little dog and mine looked like they were going to start getting in a fight, and he immediately just pulled out a gun and shot my dog, claiming, you know, oh, I was just defending my dog. Who defends their dog with a gun? Who brings a gun to a dog park?
An investigation into this incident is underway.
Now let's go to the Chesterfield dog fighting situation where the sheriff deputy was locked up and arrested and fired from his job about a few weeks ago. We all heard that news. Here's an update on it where they walk around the yard. The Humane Society that went to the yard is giving you a brief update of what they found and the situation the dogs was in. So we're going to check that out, and then we're going to get into some of this breeding talk when it comes to these dogs. Now let's talk about this breeding, man, when it comes to these pit bulls and pretty much any breed, you know, but I can't speak for any breed right now. I'm speaking for my particular dogs and some questions some brothers may have when it comes to the Big John dogs and the Big John line. You know, brothers want to know, or certain brothers want to know, why doesn't my dog produce buckskin black mass dogs? You know, so I'm gonna speak on that and you know, just give you a little enlightenment when it comes to certain things, you know. Now, first thing I want to speak about when it comes to breeding is a lot of people may not know, you know, what prepotency is. A dog being prepotent. You see, we use these terms and then we forget about these terms and then we go back to our younger thinking days, our younger thinking ways when it comes to these dogs, which is not a bad thing. Everybody is not thinking the way other people are thinking when it comes to breeding. Now, a prepotent dog, understand what a prepotent dog is. It's the ability, this dog is producing himself or higher in his litters. Every dog is not prepotent. That's why I tell brothers that when you have dogs that breed, some dogs don't even, they can be a great dog, but they breeding is nothing. You know, their breeding is nothing. They're not making good puppies. Their puppies be bullshit, you know, but they're a great dog. You have many dogs like that across the country, across the world. They're great dogs themselves. They may be a 12-time winner, but they can't produce a one-time winner, you know, and they don't produce dogs like them. You know, we've seen that plenty of times when it comes to some of these famous dogs out here across the country and across the world. They don't produce themselves. Now, prepotent dogs. When you have prepotent dogs, as what I told you, I told y'all Sambo's prepotent. You know what I'm saying? I told you Fletcher's prepotent. You know, it just is what it is. You got to know your dog. You got to know what you got. Now, prepotent means you producing himself. When the puppies come out, they looking like him, or they looking like his lineage of dogs. You know what I'm saying? No matter who you breed them with, you can breed them with this kind of dog, a black dog, a blue dog, but the dog still, he's throwing dogs that majority of the litter is coming out looking like him, you know, and acting like him. And like I said, acting better than him. You see? Now, the ability to produce different colored dogs, when we talking about buckskin dogs, when we talking about Walkmore dogs and Big John dogs and brown dogs, black mass. You see, this the thing. You got to understand what your dog mother, who your dog mother and father is, who your dog grandparents is, who your dog great grandparents is. See, when you ask, why don't Fletcher or Mellow Yellow produce buckskin black mass dogs? First of all, if I'm breeding them together, that's a red-nosed mother and a red-nosed father. Fletcher and Mellow Yellow has red-nosed mother and a red-nosed father. You see? Now, Fletcher and Mellow Yellow also have a red-nosed grandmama on the top side. And then you go on the bottom side, which is Jocko and Yellow Girl. You know, Jocko was brown with the, no, hold on, let me make sure. Jocko was red-nosed. You know, Jocko was red-nosed. So you got to look at it like that, man. Why would a dog produce a buckskin when their ancestors in the first 3 generations are red-nosed dogs? You know, you just got to look at it like that, man, and ask yourself, you can see black dogs produce a red nose, right? But have you ever seen red noses produce a black dog? Two real red noses. Not a dog that's got a red nose and he the first red nose out of his litter. He coming off a black dog that produced 1 red nose in the litter. And now he's got a red nose, but he's not a true red nose at heart. All the way through. You know. He's taken after one of his ancestors that the black dog got in his pedigree. So it's a whole lot easier for a black dog to produce a red dog than a red dog to produce a black dog. When have you seen 2 red noses produce a black dog in their litter? Not saying it won't never happen, but I'm just asking, how often do you see something like that happen? You don't see it happen. You know, you gotta know what you, and then for anybody to question why these red noses aren't producing buckskin, it's because you're looking at the pedigree. You're not looking at the dogs and understanding that the dogs gonna produce themselves, or you know, possibly some of the offspring throwback litters or throwback dogs. I mean, some of the ancestors, you know, it's possible that they can produce some of the ancestors, but I doubt it very seriously. I'm almost 100% positive that Mellow Yellow and Fletcher bred together or bred with any other red nose off that particular line of dogs. If it's a red nose off that particular line of dogs, they're not gonna get no brown with no black mass. They're not gonna get no buckskin with no black mass. They're not gonna do it. You know, when I bred Fletcher with the BG dog coming down off Backdoor Little Joe, which is a buckskin black mass dog. Backdoor Little Joe, buckskin black mass. But his offspring was red nose. I bred them dogs several times. Never got a buckskin black mass dog because my dog is pre-potent. You know, he's taking over the sperm. He's taking over the offspring when it comes to going back past him and way past him and getting the ancestors. There's no weak genes in this shit. And we talking about true red noses. Not dogs that just fly by night red noses, which don't mean is a bad dog. It means you just red nosed by default. You know what I'm saying? You became a red nose because when they made the breeding for these particular dogs, one of the ancestors' genes popped up in the offspring, and you got a red nose. You know, you'll see a buckskin black mass dog produce red noses, but you ain't gonna see no red noses produce a buckskin black mass dog the way a buckskin black mass dog produce red noses. You know, I mean, it just is what it is. You know, it's about, like I said before, it's about knowing the pedigree, knowing the dogs you got, knowing what the dogs you got look like, because you can't just read a pedigree and think you're going to understand what kind of dogs you got. If that's the case, why none of the dogs that's a certain color Big John dog is not producing the old school color, what I told you, the brindle stripe red noses? Because when you breed in certain dogs and you're not breeding for color, you lose certain colors. Because the dog comes out the color of the parents, the sire or the dam. You know, if the sire or the dam is not buckskin brindle, then the puppies are not going to be buckskin brindle. Once you miss one generation, say we got a buckskin brindle dog bred with a regular red nose. All right. Now, say all the puppies come out and none of them have that brindle stripe in them. You know, they all red noses. None of them have the brindle stripe in them. Now, we one generation away from the brindle stripe. Now, we take them puppies and we breed them back to a red nose in that same family of dogs. We breed them back. They don't have no buckskin brindle red nose dogs. We 2 generations away from the brindle, you know. Now you take them, you get them puppies and you breed them back to just so happen to be a red nose or a buckskin, whatever color you breed them to. But you another generation further away from that color, that brindle buckskin red nose color. So if I'm breeding blonde red noses or orange color red noses together off this same family of dogs, and like I said before, it's not like you got 2 buckskin black mass dogs that bred up here made a red nose, 2 buckskin black mass dogs that bred down here made a red nose. A lot of y'all don't understand and see a lot of y'all, you listen to people who really don't got a whole lot of experience with the line. Because they bought 1 or 2 dogs don't mean they got experience with the line. That's why I'm sticking with what I'm sticking with, because I know these dogs. I'm not worried about trying to get another dog this way, another dog. I'll make my out and I go back to how I go back to, because I know the dogs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worrying about what suits the next person, you know what I'm saying, or what makes the next person happy or how the next person feel about their breeding. because everybody go through different things in life, and deal with different kind of dogs in life. So I know what I'm dealing with, I know what I'm rocking with, and I'm rolling with that, So at the end of the day, if I'm making breedings and I breed Meliola and Fletcher together, or Fletcher or Meliola with any other Big John dog that's straight Big John top and bottom, and I get brown dogs, and this dog is a red nose that I'm breeding to, and I get brown dogs, black mass, I may start looking at that dog that I'm breeding to, a certain kind of way. I need to see what his father is, who his mother is, you see? And like we always say, red noses are some of the most strongest dogs that's gonna take over the line. Like we say, black, you breed to a black dog, that's a strong color of dog. Black is strong, it's gonna take over. You may get half the litter black, you may get the whole litter black. Say if I breed Fletcher, to a black dog, which I did, I bred him to a black dog, Frisco, some of that Tom Garner stuff. Whole litter came out black, none came out red noses. So when you dealing with colors like black and red nose, they're gonna dominate. They're gonna dominate. Those are the red nose, especially old family red colors, old family dogs. Strong family of dogs. Compared to your buckskin, your brown with your black mass, and all these other colors in between. Your black and your red, and maybe even your white. But if I bred Fletcher with an all white dog, we may have some white puppies, or may have some cow patch puppies with a majority of white in it, But it's just some colors that's gonna dominate. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for Fletcher them to throw no buckskin black mass dogs, unless I breed them with a buckskin black mass female, or Meliola with a buckskin black mass male. The only buckskin black mass dog that's in that pedigree in the first 3 generations is Buddy. Buddy is a buckskin black mass. So when you're dealing with strong genetics and you're dealing with dogs that's prepotent and dogs that's passing their genes down, to the offspring, you're gonna look for that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't me trying to be smart or me trying to tell you what you're thinking is wrong. I'm just trying to explain to any brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to explain to anybody. I want my dogs to look like the daddy. The pedigree, like one brother said not too long ago, and Mr. Buffalo Soldier said as well. I said this 1,000 times already. The dog makes the pedigree don't make the dog. You see? A lot of people look for the pedigree to make the dog, and you hoping the dog be ill because he got a nice pedigree. But the dog makes the pedigree. How nice, how ill, how good that dog is, what makes the pedigree able to be spoken about. You know what I'm saying? So when we speak about these Big John dogs, it ain't the damn pedigree we've been riding on for 30 years. It was the dogs we was riding on for 30 years. Whether your favorite YouTube channel or your favorite dog man know where the great dogs are at or not. We knew where the great dogs were at. That's all that matters. You think I'm sticking with this line the way I'm sticking with it because I'm just gassed up off of pedigree? Fuck no. I know what it is when it comes to the dogs. You know what I'm saying? I know what it is when it comes to each dog's in the pedigree straight down. Not just Fletcher and Mellow Yellow, not just Hacksaw and Saber 2000. I'm going past that. I'm not gassed up of when I hear brothers say, Walker always losing or this. Listen here, man. We done been on this YouTube dog talk for fucking damn 4 or 5 years, some of us brothers. Some of them been up there for 15 years. And you ain't got a motherfucker yet that come up there and talk about how they kick these brothers' ass or kick these person ass or beat these dogs with the kennel that bred the dogs. I ain't talking about you ain't beat no Walkmart dogs with somebody else got it. That's a whole different ball game. When I talk about beating a Walkmart dog, I ain't talking about beating one that somebody else got out here in the world. You know? I'm talking about outdoing the kennel themselves. That's when we're talking about something. You know, so all a long time we've been up here on these YouTube channels, you ain't had no motherfuckers to get up here and tell their story on how they beat. Oh, we beat so-and-so Crazy Eyes this, or we beat Split Is this, or we beat this dog, or we beat that dog. You know? And best believe, everybody ain't like not getting on social media. You got brothers that been getting on social media for the last 5 years across this damn country and across this world. You know, speaking about their dog stories. And not one of them said anything about beating this dog from Walkmart, that dog from Walkmart, that dog from Walkmart. You know, if I wouldn't have got up there and talked about how I beat that certain dog, and a dog with a name, a dog that they studied out, Johnny One Nut was studied out, a dog that you see in some of y'all dogs today. If I wouldn't got up there and talk about that, there would have been no damn story, period, that a brother talking about he beat a Walkmart dog. So, you know what I'm saying? Only thing you can say is, oh, they made this, or they made that, or they made themselves champion, or they went into this person. At the end of the day, I look at a lot of that stuff as hate. I look at a lot of that stuff as they did what they were supposed to do, kept their damn mouth closed, stayed up under the radar, and bulldogged. That's why they was allowed to keep their dogs as long as they kept their dogs. It wasn't until modern day time when these brothers got busted with that damn Carolina Classic shit that the name came up. Like I said before, and I'm going to say it again. When the Carolina Classic happened, one of the guys that was arrested in the Carolina Classic, word in the street in South Carolina was that they was asking questions about the Walkmart dogs. Wanting to know their real name, wanting to know this, wanting to know that. That's what the word in the streets was. See, the fake Walkmart can't tell you that because he came out here trying to sell dogs with his head off a hook. You know what I'm saying? Chopped off like a chicken. Just running. Don't know what's going on. See, I got my ears to the streets and I hear what's going on out here. You know? And we heard this before they got their dogs took. Dude from the Carolina Classic asking about the Walkmart dogs. You know? When these folks start getting in trouble, they need somebody bigger than them to give up. So I mean, it is what it is. If brothers was, if certain brothers that was out here bulldogging, was out here trying to be the mainstream, trying to be the front lines, brothers would have made it 15 years, 20 years, or brothers would have been busted in the early 2000s, 2001, 2002, 2003, in the 90s. Would have been lost their dogs. You know what I'm saying? But because brothers been keeping it on the under, you look at it like a weakness. You look at it like, oh, why we don't know the champions, or why we don't know who made. Listen, there's a lot of things in this dog game you just don't know and you won't know because brothers keeping that shit secret. And you know, it's not for me to say, but I'm gonna say it like this. At this point in time, in 2026, the ones that's out there trying to do this type of stuff, they keeping this more secret than ever. They don't want to be on this dog news. Some folk just don't care. You know, some folk just don't care. You got big time dog people that didn't want to risk getting busted, that will not get in them dog journals throughout the back in the days time. I'm talking about maybe they got in them in the 90s. You know, but as it started getting in the 2000 era, when David Tank got busted in the early 2000s, that was 22 years ago. 22 whole years ago. Brothers was backing away from them journals. You know, and when some brothers was backing away from them, other brothers wanted to stay in them. Because at the end of the day, if I can read who fighting, how long they fought, who was refereeing the matches, them same books was on an agent's desk for them to read the same stuff. So if you don't care about the agent reading what you got going on in the dog game, yeah, get in the dog journals. That's common sense. But brothers who wanted to fly under the radar and do their thing, they went in the dog journals, man. You can put it how you want to put it. You can say the dog journals are the Holy Grail and the know this and the know that. But at the end of the day, the dog journals gave the public information. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Brothers are trying to say only certain people was able to get them. It don't matter about certain people being able to get them. I keep telling y'all, if you're doing mob activity, why the fuck is you going to write this shit down? If you're not there, if you don't know about word of mouth, then you don't need to know. Now, if it would have never been no sporting dog journals, you think nobody would have never knew who the top dogs was? Let me ask you this. How many bloodlines you made since the sporting dog journals? All the bloodlines that you got out right now, every single bloodline that you got out right now was out before the sporting dog journals was being pressed up. Jeep, Red Boy. I ain't talking about the sporting dog journals from the 70s. Whatever they was printing out in the 70s, I'm talking about the modern day from the 90s on up into the 2000s. And this ain't to knock nobody. I'm just telling you why certain things is the way it is. You know? Now, we may look at it a certain way in a different way now because the laws have changed and the laws of the dogs have changed, so it's more stricter and more, you're going to be punished more than what you would have been in the 90s, 93, 94. You know, you wouldn't have been punished the same way as you would be punished now. You know, no matter what a book landed at. You know how many people probably took them books to school, got the book taken by a teacher, who passed that book along to an agent? You know how many people that got the book, left it in their car, got police friends, they got the book from the car, took it to their office? So at the end of the day, a lot of people stayed away from that stuff. And this is what one thing I know. I pay attention to this. We in modern day times, we try to look at the people that stayed away from the journal as if they weren't on y'all level, or they weren't on the people who was in the journals levels. Listen, let me explain this to you too as well. Them journals, fellas feeling like those journals gave you a higher ranking compared to people who weren't in the journals. It's no different than these brothers getting here rapping today. Don't say nothing about these brothers rapping about riding around the corner. All they rapping about is murders and homicides. It's no different. They rapping about it. Y'all was putting it in the book, writing about it. There was a lot of dog information that came out back in them days from publications that weren't journals, that gave you information, enough information. You could have ordered these books and these magazines. You could have ordered them and it wouldn't have been no journal, but it would have gave you enough information to where you could breed who you wanted to breed to. Or you could see the kind of dog you was looking for. Or you could know a story about a dog you was looking for. So, I mean, like I said, you know, it's about knowing the dogs that you're dealing with when it comes to color, when it comes to breeding, whether you got a pre-potent dog or not. You know what I'm saying? Knowing how your offspring should turn out. You know, if you expecting or wondering why I don't get a buckskin black mass dog, then you wouldn't say nothing if I got a black dog. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't say nothing if I got another funny color dog off the litter. You know, I know the line of dogs I'm dealing with enough to know and not have to look back at my pedigree and wonder why this is not showing up or that's not showing up or this is showing up. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when it comes to my dogs that I'm breeding, that walking mouth shit, that's over now. Whatever everybody got is what their program is. You know, whatever you got, that's what you breed in your program. Your dog's gonna be different than what mine gonna be. Mine gonna be different than what yours gonna be. His gonna be different than all ours. All our dogs gonna be. Because the main source to the main yard is done. You know, even if they tried to breed certain dogs and try to start this up or start that up, it's still done. Because the main source of dogs was erased. All the dogs that went to the dog pound, those dogs are what made the source dogs different than your dogs. To where they can say, oh, we got the source, we got dogs that y'all don't got. We can breed these dogs. Now it's everybody got their own sauce. And even if they try to build their dogs back up, it's gonna be different than what you got, different than what he got, different than what I got, different than, you know, they gotta start from ground zero. You know, ain't no more Buddy, ain't no more Quick, ain't no more Wrangler, you know, ain't no more Johnson. You know? But it's your dog, it's his dog, it's her dog, it's my dog, you know, next brother dog. And they all gonna throw different traits. And like I said, look at it like this again. You'll see you can take two of them Big John dogs if they buckskin, and you'll breed them, and you'll get you a red nose. But if you go all the way back in the pedigree, now we using that online ped platform that we use now, the pedigree platform. When you put my dogs in the pedigree platform, you look at the dog that's showing the most blood in my dogs. You're gonna see Yellow John. You're gonna see Yellow John about 40 or 400 sometimes, I think they said. I forgot how many times they said, but Yellow John was the dog with the most blood in my dogs. Because whether they got Big John in them or Little John in them or which dogs they got in them, they got Yellow John in them, regardless. If you look to where the dogs were originated from, the whole Big John line, if you look to where they originated from, and you go back in Mellow Yellow and Fletcher, them offspring, you're going to see Burns dog 2 times. You're going to see Burns Stumpy in there and Burns Tom Jack in Mellow Yellow and Fletcher's pedigree. Red-nosed dogs. You're going to see Yellow John in the pedigree. Red-nosed dogs. You know, Grand Champion Yellow is only coming in my pedigree through the Big John dog. You know? Now, that's your buckskin black mass dog. The Jocko dogs is brown and red noses, Mr. Chavis dogs. You know, so at the end of the day, if I know my dog originated from Red Boy, Yellow John, Mr. Chavis dogs, Walkmall Saber, which is coming down off the Burn stuff. That's a Red Boy Jocko dog without having yellow in it. You know, why wouldn't I want my dogs to look like the ancestors? You got Yellow, but Yellow wasn't the best dog in my dog pedigrees. He was one of the best breeders, one of the more prepotent breeders in the pedigree that made a lot of great dogs, but he wasn't the best dog in the pedigrees. You know? So, I mean, it's just like I said, man, it's about knowing your dog, knowing the pedigrees, knowing what built the family of dogs that you were working down off of. You know what I'm saying? And it, you know, it just is what it is. Would it make any of y'all brothers feel more comfortable if my dogs were producing buckskin black mass dogs? Now, let me explain something like this, right? If I take Fletcher and I breed him to a Mellow Yellow, I take Mellow Yellow and I breed her to a black dog. And that Mellow Yellow have off the black male dog, you will have some buckskin black mass dogs. You know? Now, I'm confident to say that Breeding Fletcher to a black female, the female that's black gonna have a lot of black dogs. Breeding the black male dog, the mellow yellow, she gonna have a lot of buckskin dogs with the black mask and several red-nosed dogs. You know? And like I said, you can get your brown dogs with your black mask. But when you taking two red noses and putting them together, you're going to get red-nosed dogs, you know, for the most part. And like I said, I'm speaking about dogs with red-nosed fathers, mothers, grandmamas, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, great-grandmothers, and stuff. A dog, family of dogs that's coming down off red noses. You go back in the mellow yellow and pedigree, you see, if you count up all 4 generations of dogs in mellow yellow and pedigree, from the first generation with Hacksaw, with mellow yellow and Fletcher them, then Hacksaw and Saber 2000, and keep going back. Out of them dogs in that first 4 generations, you're gonna see more red noses than you're gonna see anything. And I had to keep saying this because brothers acting like the Big John dogs weren't red-nosed back in the days. You just bought you a brown dog when you bought one. Or maybe you got a litter off a brown dog when they had a brown dog litter used. You came at that particular time and you saw the brown dogs. But they've been producing all the colors of that particular line of dogs the same way they is now, the same way they was back then, except for that brindle red-nosed color. For any brother to say, oh, they weren't this color back then, that's a lie. You just didn't get what they had. You only got what they had to offer at the time. You know, everything they got, or everything that we have now, because they ain't got shit. Everything that we have now is what they had back in the days, except for that brindle, cream color, red nose. You know, and I mean real stripes in the dog, buckskin, not no red striped dog, but a buckskin striped dog with the red nose. You don't see that now, you know. But every other color they had since the 90s, from Big John, hell, Saber is a red nose, was a red nose. So if you got the mother dog or the foundation of these dogs is a red nose, why wouldn't they have different colors? And it's coming down from the burn stuff. Why wouldn't they be the color of the Burns dogs? You know, the color of Yellow John, the color of Red Boy. Those are the foundation dogs of this dogs. So, I mean, hey, I'm just going by, you know, like I said, we can go by the pedigree, but you can't go by the, for some reason, brothers feel like the majority of the Big John dogs was buckskin black mass, and that's what the top dogs was back then. Listen here, man. Split Ears was a cream red nose. Rattler, cream red nose. Yellow John, Walkamall's Yellow John was a cream red nose. Walkamall's Tornado was a cream red nose. Tornado, straight off Little John. Yellow John, them straight off Big John. Same color. Yellow John was the same color as Mellow Yellow and Fletcher. Straight off Big John and Miss Kitty. So if they was coming like that then, and they still coming like that now, where do people feel like the buckskin black mass, they're drifting away from it? Yeah, they had several buckskin black mass dogs. Buddy was a buckskin black mass dog. You know, Crazy Eyes was a brown dog, black mass. You know, they had several buckskin black masses. But out of the dogs I named to you just now, Cyclone, he was a buckskin black mass dog. You know, the Cyclone stuff. But don't, you know, brothers can't act like the buckskin black mass was their main foundation color and everything else they getting now, they not getting them. Nah, man. Big John was a brown black mass dog coming off yellow. So if you breed Big John with a red nose, that's on that same family of dogs. So say you breed Big John with a red nose, a orange color red nose, or a brown dog, what color you think the puppy's gonna be? brown with the black mask, or, you know, like a red color with the black mask. And you might get some buckskin black mask ones as well, because they know they'll throw them off. You know, but I mean, you just got to go back and look at the dogs, man. Look at the dogs from back in the days. You know, a lot of people say this changed and that changed and this changed. Go back and look at some of them dogs that the people got, not necessarily the ones that stayed on the yard. Go back and look at the offspring off Big John and people who got dogs off Big John, and look at them offspring pictures. You know, it's hard to look at now because you ain't got no online pedigrees. And some of them dogs may not be up there on the pedigree platforms. Some of their pictures may not be up there. You know, but go back and look at them, man. You know what I'm saying? Go back and look at them. All the dogs I had off Big John was the color of Big John. You know, except for we had one off Big John and Miss Kitty, just bred just like Yellow John and them. Big John and Miss Kitty, the same one Nitty had. He had one named Johnny Red that was off of Big John and Miss Kitty. That was an orange dog. The one we had off that same litter was buckskin like Mellow Yellow them, Big John and Miss Kitty. I had a Big John dog, in, like I told you, in about 2011, that was brown with the black mask. We had a dog off Big John and Little Babe. I want to say his mama was Little Babe. If you go up and look up Walkamaw's Cherry Eye, he had the little mate brother to that dog, brown with a black mask. You know? So, I mean, it just, everybody gonna see things different. You know, some people just don't wanna, you know, it's gonna be like this. Some people, because they bought 1 or 2 dogs throughout the past, I done dealt with this problem already. Because you came and bought 1 or 2 dogs, you wanna tell me about what the hell going on in my damn hometown. Or what the hell that's breeding over here, what we got going on. You know what I'm saying? I done had that problem already, and I'm not talking to none of the brothers that asked that question about the buckskin. You know, I was just explaining that part, you know, but that's a bad problem that people in the dog game have. Because you came and bought 1 or 2 dogs, you want to tell me, a person that was raised around the dogs, a person that stayed around the dogs, you know what I'm saying? And a person that know them dogs about the damn dogs. Now, you can tell me about the ones you had, you know, and the ones you took home and whatever you did with what you did, that's cool. But to try to tell me about what's going on right here where I'm from, you got to expect me to just listen to you, what you're talking about, and go in one ear and out the other. The same way I say Jocko, who is Meliello's father, Meliello's grandfather on the top side. Walkma was Jocko, and Yellow Girl was the breeding that made Saber 2000, right? So the same way I tell you about Jocko, it wouldn't have been no damn Jocko if it weren't for what Pelican Bay did before Jocko time with the dog that I told y'all about, Libya. You know, when I give the okay that this breeding, or when I gave the okay that this breeding was, yeah, this breeding is that one. Fletcher and Crazy Girl was the breeding. Walkamaw's Fletcher, not Pelican Bay's Fletcher, 2 different dogs. Walkamaw's Fletcher, which was a brown dog, black mask, bred the Crazy Girl to give you Jocko. I gave the okay that this was a hellified breeding. And I'm still going to stand on this. That my dog Libya off that breeding was the best dog that ever came off that breeding. Not saying none of the rest of them wasn't great dogs. They were great. But this bitch is one of them bitches like y'all talking about how Pandy and all them stopped them dogs fast and killed this dog fast and took this. This bitch is one of them type of bitches. I put this bitch on 2 or 3 bitches back to back, stopping all of them in 5 and 10 minutes. You know? Put them on them. She shoots straight to the rear end. And she biting the rear end, curring them bitches out, got them pissing on themselves and all kind of shit instantly. And this bitch was a small bitch. I'm gonna say 37, 40 pounds at the most, 40 pounds heavy. 37 pounds condition weight. Not nothing under 35, but I'm gonna say about 37-pound condition. She would have went in good at. Maybe 35. She just had small bones. You know, when I got her from them boys, she was a little on the small side. They sold me a small dog, you know, but she wasn't all the way turned up when I got her. When I got her and gave her that attention that I give them dogs, man, I bought something out of that dog that nobody ever seen before. And I bred her back to the nitro dog that a lot of y'all got dogs off of. Off the Nitty's nitro, that was Pelican Bay's nitro. Same nitro that you see in my intro. That was my dog. I'm the one that made that dog a winner. The nitro dog. Coming down off Crazy Eyes and Shakur. I made that dog a winner against a damn Eli Jeep dog. Coming down off of that Eli Jeep dog was coming down off of a 20 gauge. Dog named 20 gauge and let me look that shit up. I have to look that shit up. Let me see. See if I can pull it up real quick. I could pull it up on online page, but I ain't sure if it's on the Pedigree platform or not. Let me check real quick. Okay, let me see what this red man dog is coming down off of. That I beat that dog with nitro. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I see it right here. Okay. Now, that red man dog is coming down off of hold up. Coming down off Wild Size Genghis Khan. It got Jeep in the background. Got some of the white tab in it. All right. It got Jeep. It got Wild Size Genghis Khan. In Cahoots Liberty. Wild Size Genghis Khan. Chinaman. Dixieline Connections Bo was in it. Grand Champion Denny and Dixieline Connections Bo was in the dog that I took out. Garner's Boss Lady, Frisco, Pennington Spot, and Garner's Miss Hurt was in this dog Pedigree. And like I told y'all, he was coming down off the Hell's Boy Dominique dog, which is coming off King's Buckshot and Garner's Jigger. And the dog 20 gauge is coming down off Howard's Mr. T and Jordan's Jedi. That's the dog I beat with the Nitro dog, you know. He was directly off of 20 gauge and Hellboy's Dominique. Dominique was off King's Buckshot and Garner's Jigger. And the 20 gauge dog was directly off Howard's Mr. T and Jordan's Jedi, which is coming down off of your White Tab and your Jeep and your In Cahoots Crazy Cash. You know, and McCarthy's Dollar. You know, And like I said, in the 4th generation, you see the Genghis Khan stuff. Or the 3rd generation, rather, you see the Genghis Khan stuff. So, you know, I made that dog a winner against that dog, man. I got a lot of experience with these dogs from the Wild Wild West days to the days where I changed it up and start doing things in a different way, the legitimate way, the right way, the way that I know is the only way that I know I'm gonna be able to keep my dogs and preserve the line of dogs that I want is to do it in the right way, you know. So I'm just giving you some history on this stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Give me a little bit of history. The dog that I had, Pelican Bay's Libby, she was an orange-red nose. Kind of had a little narrow face. She ain't had no big head. Like I said, she was a small dog. A good, you know, high 30s at the most. I wouldn't even let her cross the 40s, I don't think. You know, I wouldn't even put her across 40 pounds. Because a 40-pound dog got some size on it. She wasn't even that big. But she would curve one dog out in a jiffy. It ain't take nothing but a split second. It wasn't no playing. She shooting straight she passing the front end of your dog, going straight to the rear end and curving them out. You know what I'm saying? Ain't playing no games. Going back there busting shit up. Boom, boom, boom. You know? And like I said, I never seen her DOA one, but I like I said, she go back there and I seen her I put her in 2 and 3 dogs back to back. Not a game tester. I'm putting on another dog because this one curved out too fast. This one curved out too fast. And these dogs will roll. These dogs will go. These ain't no dogs we just trying to see if they gonna do something or not. And we putting them on her. No, we know these dogs gonna go. We letting that bitch go. When we let her go, she shoot straight past the head, shooting the rear end, getting the biting, and they getting the hollering and snapping and curse snapping and all kind of shit. Dogs that would normally do their thing. You know? So I mean, hey, it is what it is. Like I said, I take pride in knowing the line of dogs that I'm running and what kind of dogs I'm dealing with. You know, and to the brothers that, you know, I'm glad y'all made a topic on one of the boards that talking about I call it the dirty section of Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Y'all made a board talking about what y'all think about Pelican Bay Sambo. You know, hey, great topic to discuss. But at the end of the day, you got people discussing this topic that wasn't even born then. You got people discussing this topic that you was probably 3, 4, 5 years old when Sambo was around. You know, which is all good. Because we discussed about dogs, Eli, the rest of them that we wasn't born then. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. I just appreciate even being in the conversation, man. You know what I'm saying? I just appreciate being in the conversation at the end of the day. And knowing, like I said before, my dog did his thing when he was living. And I made sure that the world know who my dog is today. You know what I'm saying? I did my thing long after he was gone. To make sure that Sambo is known in America, Mexico, Europe, Africa, and Asia. You know, maybe I did my thing, man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, one thing we know about these dogs, no matter how good they are, you still gonna have somebody on the other side that gonna make up a reason not to like them. You know what I'm saying? You can have the female dog where they say Panda, one of them. All their shows combined make 20 minutes or 30 minutes for all the shows combined. Or certain dogs, the female, I forgot the female dog name. It might be the Panda, it might be another dog, a female dog. That all the shows combined made 20 or 30 minutes, you know. But you still gonna have people that's gonna say something bad about that dog. Oh, she didn't do this, or she didn't do that, or this or that, or this or that. You know? So man, hey, all you gotta do is know what you rolling with, know what you rolling with, know what you're breeding, know how it's supposed to look. That's why I said a long time ago, we should have these pictures in the pedigrees. Without the pictures in there, it should be incomplete, and you can't submit and you can't put it up there to be finished if it don't got a picture up there. You need a picture of these dogs and what these dogs look like. You know what I'm saying? You need that because there's a lot of people, just like the brothers be on Facebook saying, there's a lot of people that get up here, they make these pedigrees, they don't got no papers, but it's cool because everybody don't care about papers. You know, but you don't know how these dogs look. And when you get a black dog or you get a brindle dog, you know, a black brindle dog or this color dog, you don't even know where it come from. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't see, you just got to look at the name and hope the name explain to you the dog color. You hope you see tiger in the dog name, or you hope you see some blue this or some type of shit to make you think this dog could have been a black dog, you know what I'm saying, or this color dog. When all you had to have was a picture of the dog on the actual pedigree, you know what I'm saying? Now, I will say this while I'm talking about the red man dog, you know, that's the same red man dog that the Nitro dog beat, that I'm telling you, I took Nitro and I beat him with the red man dog. I conditioned that red man dog before that. Before I put him on, before Nitro went into him, I conditioned that dog. The person who owned the dog brought him to me for me to get him right. And I got him right off road work. No treadmill work, straight road work, riding the bicycle, riding out through the projects at nighttime, you know, riding anywhere we want to go, we riding on the bike. You know, he was a great dog when it come to road work, you know what I'm saying? Friendly dog, like to run on the bike, give them good strides and stuff like that. I took him and I ran through another welcome all dog, you know? I ran through him in probably about 15 minutes maybe at the most. Ran through him. The one that I told you Fair and Joy had, DJ Dynamite, the fake Walkamo. The one him and old boy had trying to sneak him in on me, an orange red nose. But his ass stopped in that damn corner. And if they say he wasn't a Walkamo dog, only other dog he could have been was a Burns dog. You know, because we took one of them Big John dogs and we beat a Humdinger dog, you know. But I'm not sure if he was off Humdinger or he was off the Big John shit. But he was an orange red nose. He had to be either one, off the Burn stuff or off the Big John shit. One or the other. You know, ran through him. Stopped him easy. Stopped him easy. Knowing how to have these dogs in a keep matters a whole lot. Like one brother said, you don't know how to condition a dog, and a lot of people put too much emphasis in it, make it harder than what it really is. You don't know how to condition a dog. You bring them in too light. You're supposed to be in 47 pounds, no higher. You bring them in 44 pounds, going towards 45 pounds. Hey, that's how you came. You don't know what you're doing. I'm not giving you no free wins. You either gonna pay off that forfeit or you gonna touch this square, you know? And I wanna say Nitro and them came in at 47. That's what we were bringing them in at, 47 pounds. And I'm gonna tell you, that red man dog, when he was conditioned by another person, they brought him in too light, you know? They brought him in at least 1.5 pounds underweight. But that wasn't the big thing. You know, that wasn't the big thing that I noticed. And I'm being honest with you as a dog man. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell you, everybody don't know how to work a dog. No matter what some people say. Not only because the dog could have been 1.5 pounds light, but he could have been worked to the fullest and looked damn good. You know what I'm saying? But when this dog came in, he didn't look like he was worked to the fullest. You know what he looked like? He was starved to lose that weight. You know, when I say that, I mean, he wasn't conditioned down and worked down, losing a 0.5 pound here, 1/4 pound or whatever, and still exercising and getting fed good. It wasn't like that with him. When the next person worked the red man dog, he looked like he'd been, take this food away from him. Take this food away from him. Let's get him down. Let's get him down. And they relied on mouth. The dog had a hard mouth. They're going to rely on mouth. They're relying on mouth. This the thing I keep telling brothers. You relying on something that can be taken away. Mouth, you lose mouth when you take too much weight off a dog. You don't lose gameness. You see, y'all worrying about breeding for something you can gain and you can lose. You add mouth to your dog by putting more weight on them, and you lose mouth by taking the weight from them. You don't lose gameness. Gameness is in that bitch. So that's why I breed for gameness, you know what I'm saying, in my days. Gameness is all I worried about. I don't give a fuck about no damn mouth. We weather the storm, that mouth don't mean shit. I don't care what you say. The old schoolers didn't do it, and I ain't doing it, and I wasn't doing it. Breeding for no mouth, I'm breeding for dogs that's gonna keep coming. Dogs that's gonna, when you let them go, he coming. That's the only thing that impressed me. That mouth shit, that shit come and go. You can't breed a dog and hoping you getting mouth like the daddy got. You hoping you, it depends on how that man who conditioned that dog brought that dog in shape. He brought him in big enough where he can have enough mouth and small enough where he can go for a long period of time. Because he gained, but he got him in shape. You be in the game long enough, you hear brothers start making statements about, oh, he was good, but they got him too small. They took the mile away from him. Took the mile away. You can't take the game from him. Only way you can take the gameness from him if the dog take the gameness from him and make him stop in that corner. You can't take the gameness no matter how small you get that motherfucker, how big you get him. Now you can get him too big where he don't want to come. He tired. He overheated. That ain't taking the gameness from him. That's you got a damn over a hot dog or he too big. You know, he obese. You know? So, I mean, hey, that gameness is in his heart and his mind. That mouth, that shit ain't in his mind and in his heart. That shit ain't in his damn weight. And how much, and do you got his weight exactly where it need to be at? Some of them dogs that y'all say are crushing dogs or crusher dogs, you take enough weight off that dog, and I ain't talking about getting them skinny and malnutrition. You take enough weight off that dog will not bite the same damn weight. He may still win, but he ain't gonna have the same crushing bite that he got, that you know him to have. You know? So that's what I be talking about, man. That's what I be talking about. Knowing your dog, knowing the line of dogs you run. You know what I'm saying? Stop living off them old school stories about Eli dogs with mouth, and this dogs with mouth, and this dog, like I said, mouth come and mouth go. Gameness don't come and gameness don't go until you start talking about breeding. You know what I'm saying? We talking about mouth coming and go. Mouth coming and go just off that one dog alone. You know, if you take a dog who got splendid and excellent mouth, and he take him and he say he's a 10-time winner, right? The first 2 shows he worked with me, and you seen him roll and he had excellent mouth. The next 2 shows he was with somebody else. He didn't bite the same way. You ain't see his gameness change up. You seen the mouth change up. In that one particular dog, mouth can go up and can go down. It just depends on where you got it at. You know, that gameness is there. It's there to stay. You know, when you breed it, that gameness is gonna transfer. That mouth ain't gonna transfer because you can manipulate the mouth, is what I always say. You can change that mouth. You can build that mouth up. The same way we do training techniques to teach our dog how to bite harder, how to get better bites. You can do the same thing with a pit bull. When I spoke about the wedge, using the wedge to get better grip, to get better bite placement and all that stuff with a pit bull. Many people don't know what a wedge is and still don't know what a wedge is. You teaching a dog how to use his jaw muscles that he got. You know, you teaching him how to use it. It's a difference than biting on a piece of hide. When you biting on hide, your dog mouth completely closed. He not getting no jaw strength from biting on a hide at all. He using his jaw strength to hold on to the hide, but he not gaining no jaw strength by working the hide. You got him working on something like a wedge. You got him working something, he got to use his jaw strength, then you building it up. You know, so when you take him to his competition or wherever he's going in, you done got his jaw power built up. And like I always say, I never bred for mouth because I know we weather the storm. The type of dogs I'm dealing with, we ain't worrying about we gotta rely on trying to finish him in 5 minutes. But we ain't trying to say either that we want to go in deep waters and we want to go for 3 hours and all that type of shit. But having a dog that you know can go for that is a whole lot more confident. You're a whole lot more confident in that dog knowing he can go for 3 hours than knowing he can damn bite. Cause once you see him, he going there, he biting. He getting his move, he biting. And now it's a whole 45 minutes later, that dog's still coming. Now you ain't confident no more. You know what I'm saying? You ain't as confident as you was because that bite shit didn't stop what you thought it could stop. Now you gotta rely on something else that's a whole lot more deeper, in that dog. The gameness. It's what every pit bull man from back in the days, from Mr. Charlie Lloyd, from Mr. William Lightner, Mr. J.P. Kobe, all the brothers from back in the days, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Jim Wilson, all the brothers from back in the days, they bred for gameness. And when I take them to that corner and I let them go, is he coming? Is he crossing that line? It's a sign of relief to these brothers when they're hour and a half in, 2 hours in. It's a sign of relief when they take one to the corner and he going and he's screaming, he's screaming, he's screaming. That's a sign of relief because you know that son of a bitch want to come out that corner. It don't mean he gonna bite hard when he's yelling like that. No, it don't mean he gonna bite hard. It mean he gonna come. That's the only thing that matters. Now, if you got a dumb dog that'll let a dog bite him down, and you got smart dogs, sometimes, like I said, you take some of the dogs with some of the worst mouth. If we take that dog, and especially if they're not throat dogs and finishing dogs, and they straight up getting it off the. See, this is the thing. When you got a dog that go in that throat and go for that finish, it puts the pressure on the other dog. I'm talking about when they come out fast and do it, See, it might not be mouth pressure that's the reason this dog is killing every dog in the first 5 minutes. It don't gotta be jaw pressure, but y'all will leave with the story and go spreading the story around like it's jaw pressure that's doing that. No, it's the fact that dog know how to kill. He can have the softest mouth ever, but if he know how to kill and he coming directly out, going for the kill, soon as he come in the ring, he going for the kill. He ain't bullshitting around. He going in the throat and he trying to get in the throat, He get you down, he digging in the throat, going for the kill from the bottom or the top. He going for the esophagus. That don't got nothing to do with hard mouth. That got something to do with a dog being smart and knowing how to finish a dog. You know how many people who got dogs with hard mouth? Dogs can't finish. He got a hard mouth, but all he want to do is shake and use his mouth. He can't finish this dog. You'd rather be on a dog with a tremendous mouth any day than a dog that's a certified finisher. That's the worst kind of dog you want to be on, a certified finisher, certified killer. And when I say killer, I mean real killer, putting them to sleep. Eyes get glossy, legs stretch out, start shitting, kick out, legs kick out. First the eyes get blue, glossy blue. You don't know what I'm talking about. You never seen your dog put one down. You know what I'm saying? Eyes get glossy blue, then they start stretching out, going and laying down. Sometimes they shit on themselves, sometimes they don't. But it don't take long. It don't take long at all. See, your dog he can fight a long time back in them days when he wasn't on a finisher. Because he know how to rest here, he know how to rest there. But when he on a certified finisher, he don't get no rest time. He don't get no little 15 minutes to rest. Every chance this motherfucker get, he's going for the kill on this son of a bitch. And your dog know that. So now when you used to seeing them go for an hour, you seen them, the longest you see them go for an hour, so you got a little confidence in them. Nah, this motherfucker ain't giving them time to rest. Every time this motherfucker get a chance, he going in the throat. He going for places that's gonna stop this dog. You know, kidney areas. Some dogs can finish them in the kidney areas. Get back there and start shaking that shit up. I ain't talking about the thigh. I'm talking about the kidney area. It's no different than you boxing and get hit in your liver or your kidneys. What they say, the liver make the body shiver. What you think it's gonna do when them dogs do it? Shoot straight to the rear, get up in that little corner pocket of them thighs and that stomach, get in that little corner pocket, like we shooting 8-ball. Do some damage up in there. Now your dog, even if he get him out the corner pocket, he damaged already. He damaged goods. It's just a matter of time now. You know. So like I said, man, I say that to say this. You know, when it comes to my dogs producing buckskin dogs, you know, when it's time, they will. But if I'm not making the breedings that's gonna produce them kind of dogs, they don't do it. You know, they don't do it. When you look at the BG dog that I bred to when I bred Fletcher, the BG, when you look at her ancestors in the first 4 generations, you see more red dogs than you see buckskin black mass dogs. The red can be red black mass or red nose. All the dogs that's coming down off that bolio stuff and that bitch BG pedigree, all that stuff that's coming down off of the STP buck stuff that's in that pedigree is coming down off red dogs. STP buck, Jesse James Rod them, and look at the dogs that's in the pedigree because they got several pictures of the dogs in the pedigrees. Not all of them, but a majority of them. She's a true red nose, you know. True red nose, man. So it is what it is, you know. Just gotta know the dogs, man. It's a great thing when you know your dog's pedigree because nobody can't tell you nothing different about the dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I'm not trying to have 30 different kind of dogs that I'm breeding with and saying it's a good foundation or it's a good, these good dogs I'm breeding with. I'm working with certain dogs that I know. Same thing I suggest you do. Work with certain dogs that you know. You know what I'm saying? And learn them dogs. A good pedigree don't make a good dog. You know, you got to know what you're dealing with, man. Because all of them, we can make all of them look good. I mean, at the end of the day, all the pedigrees look good. It might not be something that you know, but somebody else know it. Or is this, or is that. All of them look good. But they're not all producing the same. You know what I'm saying? And when you breed certain dogs, you get certain things. I tell brothers, and I appreciate every brother that bought dogs from me in the past. I tell you, you got old school, old family Southern Reds. That's a line of dogs and a name for dogs that Pelican Bay made up. They can try to take this or they can take that. They can't take old family Southern Reds and they can't take the Walker Reds. There's only 4 Walker Reds. You know, there's only 4 of them. That's Melly Yellow Fletcher, Mango, and Molly. I created that shit. And if you don't know why I created it, you know, you just don't know. The last 4 dogs, and they were red noses. The last 4 dogs bred mother red nose, father red nose. The last 4 off that yard. You know what I'm saying? You know, the old family Southern Reds were the dogs that I made crosses with. The Mayday dogs that I crossed them, the Walker Reds with. Those were the old family Southern Reds. You know? It don't make it an old family Southern Red because you take a Walker Mall dog and you breed it to a Mayday dog. It ain't coming down off the Walker Reds. The old family Southern Reds gotta come down off the Walker Reds. It got to in order to be an old family Southern Red. It ain't the color that gets these dogs the name. it's the lineage, it's who they coming down off of that gets these dogs the name. Old Family Southern Reds, Walker Reds, Pelican Bay. You know? That's how we do it, man, when it comes to these dogs, man. It is what it is. I give it to my brothers, and I give it to my brothers, and I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all hit that like button up, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, you know what I'm saying? Donate to the channel if you want to donate to the channel. You know how to do it. Hit me up in the super chat or hit me up in the cash out. All of it is appreciated, man. You know, and any dog questions y'all brothers got when you want to talk about these dogs, you know, hit me up. I always say I can get the answer in certain things or whatever. Hit me up in my messenger, Instagram or Facebook. You know, like I always say, I gotta get on my Instagram more. I gotta, you know, get on that more, and even more than that, I gotta get on my TikTok more. You know, so if brothers been messaging me on TikTok, I probably haven't even got the message. I got it in my account, but I probably haven't even checked the message yet because I'm really on it. You know what I'm saying? So just hit me up, man. If you really want to get in touch with me, hit me up on Facebook because I check that messenger all the time, and I get notifications when that messenger's, you know, somebody hit me a message in that. And another thing, if you sent me a message in Facebook and we're not friends, give me a few seconds because that means you in another section over there. You in a section of, there could be a spam section or people you may know section. So I don't check that every single day, but I check that frequently. So if you sent me a message and we're not friends, just give me a few minutes to answer it, man, because I might be just haven't seen it yet. You know what I'm saying? Just haven't seen it yet. But yeah, man, the red noses, they're gonna throw red noses. Your black dogs, they gonna throw red noses, but your red noses ain't gonna throw black dogs. You know, red nose mama, red nose daddy. They're not gonna throw black dogs. You know, and I'm not gonna say that none of the breedings that I'm gonna do off Fletcher or Mellow Yellow may not throw another color dog. But a black nose dog off of two red noses and two red nosed grandparents is rarely gonna come. You're talking about a once in a lifetime thing that may happen. You're getting a black nosed dog off that. You know? So I mean, hey man, just gotta, like I said, just gotta know your pedigrees, know what kind of dogs you're dealing with, know what they producing, and never forget about the prepotent dogs. Dogs that's passing their genetics down to the next dog. Dogs that's making dogs better or equal to them. You know, prepotent, man. So y'all have a great day, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all stay legal. It's your boy PB K9s on the PBC, and we out.